All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Nerds Who Drink. This episode, we're going to kind of Tarantino this shit because Mark and I are currently on our way to Comic Universe, which is a comic book shop. So we are in the car, we are driving, so no drinks just yet. But that being said, I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
And guys, thanks for listening. So this week, we're going to be checking out Comic Universe LLC, which is based on McDade Boulevard. It's what, Ridley?
Yep, McDade Boulevard in Ridley Township in Delaware County, PA.
So, guys, if you're a local to the Delaware County area, go check out Comic Universe. I think they're awesome. I've been in there before. The owner, Mike, great guy. He's hosting an event tonight where he's going to be selling some of the books off the wall. So, you know, your higher tier, more collectible series books. So we figured we'd pop in, hang out, get to know some of the people in the community, and, bring that community back to us. So I think some of the big things we wanted to talk about was, I think last time we talked, we had said something about best adaptations for comics to movies.
Absolutely.
So I have my list. I don't know if you do or not, or if you have it like on the top of your head.
I have it, but I'm pretty confident in my list. I had 10.
10? Jesus Christ, I got 5. Top 5.
Well, no, I narrowed it down, but I had to go back and I did some rewatches of some movies to help me slink them out.
Okay. So give me in no particular order, give me one of your 5. Because I have a feeling one of ours are going to be the same, at least one.
So first thing I want to ask is, what did you base your criteria? So for me, my criteria was a little bit of, first off, I went with the ones that were the truest adaptations.
Okay.
And then from there, I just went to, if it wasn't that accurate of an adaptation, was it at least like a good story? Or was it just your run through the mill, like, oh, here's the story, here's what happened, and yada, yada, yada. So for me, what I think is the most accurate comic adaptation, number one for me, Watchmen.
Okay. That's a solid pick, honestly. It didn't make my list, and it's not because I didn't like it. It's just because I think entertainment value-wise, I had others that sort of met my criteria. So I'm going to hit you with one that may throw you like the Watchmen threw me. Scott Pilgrim.
That was in my top 20.
Okay. All right.
So it was in there. However, I don't know much about the actual comics to judge the movie.
I think, again, I don't know a ton about the comics. I've read one or two of them. But I think as far as entertainment value goes based on the movie, that's why it made my list.
Okay. Number 2 for me was by far, this will probably be an overlap, but for me, just by far one of my favorite comic book Now we're going comic book movies or adaptations? Because
so I don't want to go TV shows because I want to make that a completely separate topic.
Well, no, this one, it follows a storyline. Just I don't know if you would consider it a comic adaptation. And for me, it was Under the Red Hood.
Okay, so that is on my list.
Okay.
I 100% agree with that. That made, again, just top 5. In no particular order, Under the Red Hood was on there, and I think we may have another one that's in common because now that you've said that, I'm going to take you to Flashpoint.
Absolutely. That was number 1 for me overall. No question about it. Hands down, favorite one. Because literally there's only they don't have a lot of characters in there that are in the comics, and there's one slight change that they make that honestly it kind of aggravates me that in the animated version they made the change, and that's how Reverse Flash dies.
Okay.
Because in the comics, Batman just straight up stabs him with a fucking samurai sword.
Which is badass.
Like Batman shooting him in the head or whatever, okay. But, if he would have gotten stabbed with a sword, especially a speedster, I don't know, that just would have...
It hits different.
Exactly.
Okay, so hit me with another one.
Let's see. Who else did I have? Obviously, I didn't want to take the obvious, because I know on every single person's, list, you're going to have, obviously, The Dark Knight.
Okay, so that's on my list. And I know it's obvious, but I fucking love Christian Bale as Batman. I don't like him necessarily as Bruce Wayne, but I like him as Batman.
See, and I don't like him as either.
That's fair. That's fair.
Where is he?
I may be swayed partially due to the Joker.
Yes, Heath Ledger, R.I.P.
Fucking knocked that out of the goddamn
Knocked it out of the park, hands down. Like, I wouldn't say necessarily that he's the best Joker, because I feel like, me personally, there hasn't been a solid, like, even Mark Hamill, there hasn't been a solid adaptation of the Joker, because there's so many nuances to his character.
Sure.
So there have been good anarchists, aka Heath Ledger. There have been good, like, psychopaths, aka Heath Ledger. Like, there's been good gangster versions, which honestly, that's what Jared Leto was going for. Like, that's how he acts in the comics. I know a lot of people trash him for it, but like, it was actually a pretty accurate, like, portrayal for him.
Speaking of that, I saw there was a ranking. It was like on Twitter. It was a ranking of the top like 4 live action Jokers, and it was like Heath Ledger, Cesar Romero, Joaquin Phoenix, and someone else. And then fucking Jared Leto responded and was like, I fucking played a live-action Joker. Are you kidding me? And he's like, no, fuck you. Like, again, that I give him props for taking on a role that large. Like, that is a character that people have so many fucking opinions about. That would be like someone coming in and changing who Darth Vader is.
Right.
So, I get it.
Well, apparently, Darth Vader blew up the Death Star.
Don't get me started on that shit. I want to make an entire episode on how fucking terrible the cast of The Acolyte is at just knowing shit about Star Wars. And again, for me, like, I know you're going to get a lot of hate for this on the fucking internet, but I enjoy the show strictly for entertainment value. But, like, accuracy, it's getting a little wonky. We're getting a little wonky. But, back to our list real quick. So at this point, I think I only have one that you haven't touched on, and I mean, it's more of an obvious one for me if you've been listening to our fucking show ever. I'm going to hit you with Iron Man.
I had Iron Man as one of my top 10, but I knew you were going to pick it, so I kind of left it off because I didn't want our list to just be completely the same. But no, absolutely. Like, the first Iron Man movie, hands down, like, kicked off the MCU, technically, and I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is just, he's in that class of Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman. Like, they were just born to play the roles that they got.
I've said this before, and I'll say it a million times. Robert Downey Jr. embodied Iron Man. Not just as the actor, but, like, his life took such a fucking bad turn. He was in jail, alcohol, drugs, the whole nine. And that role is what effectively saved him. So, like, that relates to, like, the character of Tony Stark, who was in a fucking shit place, who was ready to fucking off himself, who's just in a dark spot with the alcohol and this and, like, and there's an entire fucking comic about that. So, like, yeah, I completely fucking agree with Robert Downey Jr.'s choice and transformation. Now look at this fucking guy. He's got a million companies trying to change the world for the better. I mean, what the fuck? Who but Tony Stark?
Yeah, nah, like, just everything about him as, like, a person. Like, I've seen videos of him, like, at Comic-Cons and stuff. Like, he's just a kind-hearted person.
Oh, absolutely.
And, like, absolutely deserves everything that he's earned since, like, recovering.
100%. All right, hit me.
So I got one for you. So you went there, but I went The Winter Soldier.
Okay, fucking great. I mean, gotta be my favorite Captain America movie. Hands down.
Oh, easily. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, listeners don't get mad at us. I didn't put Endgame or Infinity War on my list because those kind of were, like, the obvious choices. I tried to go a little bit more.
I'll tell you what. See, I didn't even put them on the list, not because it was an obvious choice, but because, like, the MCU had evolved so much at that point that it felt like less of a comic adaptation than, like, they just kind of were like, here you go. Here's what you got.
Right, but I mean, Infinity War was 100% based off of the Infinity Gauntlet series.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I just know that, again, you know...
But like you said, yeah, they were kind of just like, yeah, we got all these people now, let's just have them fight.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that's like the route that they were going, but I think that, and, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like as a Marvel fan, Marvel died.
Oh, absolutely.
Endgame. Marvel fucking died with Endgame. Like, we had a couple solid series, you know, And it's been, the tough couple first episodes on like WandaVision, and Loki is fucking out of the park. But like we're just talking.
Moon Knight was up there.
Moon Knight was great, but we're onesies and twosies, whereas like almost every movie in phases like 1 through 3 were amazing.
Oh, they were all hits. Every single one of them was.
It's just fucking nuts that's how fucking bad it's gone, for Marvel. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that, but Marvel, get your shit together, please. DC, keep fucking animating. I don't know what else to do.
I feel like a lot of their issue was that they started writing themselves in the corners between COVID and all the political agenda stuff.
The political agenda shit. Like, and again, there was even nuances to that. Like, there are references to that in like Falcon and Winter Soldier, the TV series. But like, I was okay with that because it made sense. But all right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. All right, guys, so what seemed like a brief break for you, just a second, we took some time. We went to Comic Universe, hung out there. They had an auction for some awesome comic books, which we will be posting on our Instagram, so definitely give those a check. If you ever have the opportunity to check out Comic Universe, Mike, the owner, just a fantastic guy. Seriously, super down to earth. Definitely going to work with you. Getting some comic books out the door. I know we're going to be back very frequently. I'm looking for the Absolute Power series coming out from DC in July. I'm very excited to read up on that. But I guess back to what we were talking about, comic book adaptations. So I know there's a ton of them out there. We could talk about these all day. We gave our top 5 each. But I think in a future episode, I'd definitely like to talk about TV series, unless you have... hit me with the top 3 TV series comic adaptations. If you can think off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head, I have to go Moon Knight. I'd have to go with... that's not Street anymore. I'd have to go Moon Knight, obviously. I feel like Loki.
Okay.
And see, it's hard because DC doesn't really do like TV series. You have the Arrowverse with everything in that.
Well,
but I would probably say
count.
it's hard because like I'd say the first 5 or 6 seasons of Arrow were great.
Sure.
And then it just fell off. I'd say with the Flash. So like it's hard.
I'd give the Flash 4 seasons though. Okay, so I'm going to hit you with some curveballs that are non-regular, I guess, TV series. They're regular TV series, but like when you think comic book, that maybe you don't directly think of them. The Boys, off the bat, fucking phenomenal. This new season is dark. Fucking dark, bloody. It is exactly what you expect from The Boys, and then some, like to the power of 2. Have you seen The Umbrella Academy?
Yes.
Fucking.
And I'm waiting for the final season for that. But that, honestly, that's a show I just completely forgot about because it hasn't been out in a while.
Another great comic book adaptation. And Gerard Way, like, fucking awesome. I know we had talked briefly about it in one of our previous episodes when we were Something Super. But another fucking great show. And then if I could cap it off, if I had to cap it off, Lock and Key.
See, I tried watching Lock and Key and I couldn't get into it.
So, and again, I'm hitting you with like left field shows that like maybe our listeners might not have heard of or seen.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you're interested in like that fantasy sci-fi kind of feel to certain shows, Lock and Key is awesome. It's about these kids who their dad ends up passing, and they go back to his childhood home and they find all these keys, and each key has like a magical power, which is insane. The show gets a little crazy towards the end where they start like making keys. I kind of like the concept of like just the keys being what they are. Umbrella Academy, another Netflix show, awesome. The music in it, phenomenal. The acting is decent. I'd give it like a 7+.
Yeah, and even the fact that like halfway through the show changes to now the Sparrow Academy.
Yeah, and I like that, and that's the newest season if you haven't seen it, which again follows directly with the comic books. It's awesome. I love it. And then, again, The Boys. If you haven't watched The Boys, you've heard of it. It's one of those shows that really made a splash on Amazon Prime. So, not that I don't... Flash is my favorite DC hero of all time. Great fucking series. Again, I love Grant Gustin's Barry Allen. I could say a million good things about the Arrowverse as a whole. I mean, I could also say a million bad things about the Arrowverse as a whole because they tried too much towards the end with like a lot of weird... I felt like it got weird with certain shows. Like Legends of Tomorrow, just... They had like a giant Elmo thing. I wasn't really a fucking fan of that.
Oh, the Furby.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that thing was. Bebo or
Bebo, yep.
Fucking Christ. That was too much. I felt like we were far and beyond where like it was just campy.
No, I got to do some research too, but like the one thing I really couldn't stand about like Arrow, like it was a great show. But then the issue was like every villain was like a Batman villain. And I know Green Arrow and Batman kind of cross over in the comics a little bit. Like I don't know if they cross over that much that all these Batman villains are just like showing up to fight Green Arrow. Now I don't know if they were eventually going to try to bring maybe like a Batman kind of a character into the Arrowverse, because I know they were starting to kind of trend that way.
They did Batgirl, and then they alluded to Batman, but that was another failure of a fucking TV series.
Well, what's his name was he played a alternate universe.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And when they brought him in,
correct, and it
Kevin Conroy.
Yep, they had so much potential with those shows, but again, like it's like The Sandlot, right? Like The Sandlot was such a good fucking movie, and I know it was like a '90s movie, and you know it was something that like they tried to recreate many a times in the past fucking 2 decades. Like I didn't even know how many times they tried to recreate it until I looked it up, and it was fucking too many.
Yeah.
They made one where it was like, and nothing against female softball, baseball players, like they made one where it was just young girls instead of the boys, and the lines were almost the fucking same. Like I'm watching it, I'm like, I feel like I know this movie. But yeah, it was, I don't know. I can't say that I loved all of the live action DC series. I can't even say that I love all the live action Marvel series. But Loki, just because I didn't want to cross over too much with you since we did a 3 top tier list, like Loki was far and beyond my favorite fucking Marvel series.
And honestly, like the first season for me like was intriguing, but like then everything happened with Jonathan Majors. But the way that they recovered season 2 with everything that happened is what makes me put that like top tier. Because you see what's happening with Marvel right now, like we were talking about earlier, is it's fallen apart since Endgame.
Yeah.
And like everybody drags on like Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I really didn't see any issues with that movie.
No,
like I really thought it was just people just were a lot harder on it than they should have been.
I like Paul Rudd. And again, when we're talking about like, when I'm watching a movie, I'm not nitpicking it like, oh, this is different than the comic. I'm watching it strictly for entertainment value. So for me, it's like, okay, you know, if it was really just a dog shit movie, I probably wouldn't have gotten behind it.
Right.
But it was a decent movie, good rewatchability. Paul Rudd's hilarious. And then, like, I liked the second and the third. The third was a little wild. And I think that was like the concept, that was the point of it, Quantumania.
Right. I mean, you had Multiverse of Madness, Quantumania. It seemed like they were
No Way Home.
Like they were building towards the MCU kind of breaking apart, which was par for the course for Quantumania.
And it fucking did. Just that. Congratulations, Marvel. You pooped the bed. But no, I mean, overall, if I had to go overall, I liked it. Ant-Man, that's what we're still talking about. just to be clear, there's a lot of shit in Marvel that I'm just not a fucking fan of right now. But to each their own. I'm excited for Daredevil. I'm looking forward to a lot of that stuff coming out. Like, that was a great series. I mean, if I didn't even talk about that, son of a bitch.
The Punisher,
fucking awesome. Jessica Jones was even good.
Honestly, all of them shows other than Iron Fist and the Defenders.
I don't like Iron Fist like that, and the Defenders I felt like they were forcing it. And then to watch, like, have you looked at the fucking timeline of those shows? It's like you gotta watch like episode 1, 2, 3, and 4 of this show, and then episode 1 of this show, and then you gotta jump into fucking Defenders, and then, like, it's too much, man. I tried, and I was like, I can't even fucking watch this in order.
I just watched them and enjoyed them for what they were.
Luke Cage was another one. Again, when I think of shows, I'm not like, oh wow, Luke Cage is in the forefront of my mind, but it was a solid series.
I honestly forgot about Luke Cage.
And so did I, until again, Defenders. That's what you fucking sparked my brain.
Rosario was in that.
Yes.
Well,
yes,
in all those Netflix series.
Yep. But again, there's so much out there that's been adapted from comics, whether it's TV or movies. There's so much stuff out there, good, bad, indifferent. Let us hear your thoughts on what you think was your favorite comic book movie or TV series, and see if it compares to ours.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about this for 17 episodes. We won't, just to not bore you guys too much. But yeah, I mean, as far as like things of that genre, we'll eventually dive deep into like maybe favorite episodes or like individual movies and things of that nature. But this week, so since I said we were Tarantinoing it, we're going to finish our episode with the drink. Our drink this week is brought to us from Samuel Adams up in Boston. And it was the Porch Rocker, which is a Radler, which I love the origin story of the Radler. I don't know if you know it.
I do not.
I do, because I'm a fucking nerd. And I did like a focus group a million years ago for a TV series called The Booze Brothers or Booze Travelers or something like that. And it was essentially these guys who traveled around the world and fucking drank alcohol. And I was like, that is my dream job, A. B, the fucking series was super cool, and I don't think I ever saw it like on TV. It was supposed to be like the Travel Channel. But they went to Austria, and I found out what a Radler was, and I had to go home and try it. But it's essentially a beer and lemonade mixture that they had during a race, or a bike race. And they were running out of beer because people were just like drinking alcohol on the bike race, and they mixed lemonade with it, and it became this like huge hit. And I guess that's kind of where like Leinenkugel's like summer shandy comes from. It's got like that lemony flavor to it. It's not super beery or like IPA-ish, but it's a solid drink. So I like Radlers. If you've had them before, it's a great summer drink. It's very refreshing. If you haven't, go give them a taste, whether it's Sam Adams or not. I know there's a couple of them out there. But what is your opinion of it?
Well, to be fair, I mean, granted, we were gazing at comics and plotting what we were buying while I was drinking it, but I didn't realize it was gone. So it goes down very smooth, and honestly, it's good.
I liked it. It had that hint of lemon in the back, not super heavy, kind of refreshing. There's a ton of people in the comic shop, so it was a little hot, but yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, it was there and it was gone before you realized it. Yeah, it was such an easy beer to drink.
Never mind. What were you
No.
gonna say?
I was gonna say, I don't think I've had anything from Sam Adams that I can like openly say like I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've done the tour at the Sam Adams Brewery up in Boston where you get to try like all of them, and every single one of them hits. Like, I don't think there really is a bad Sam Adams beer, which is probably why they've been in business for so long.
Agreed. Did you try Red Brick when you were up there?
Yes, I did.
Oh, it's fucking phenomenal. And you can only get it in the city because it's only on tap. Fuck you. You fucking pricks. I had it when I was up there. I did a Spartan race up there years ago, and god damn it, it's good. And it's one of those ones I'm like, oh, you want to throw that in a can for me so I can take it the fuck home? No? Cool, thanks. Who am I to change your fucking business model?
Right.
But no, honestly, Sam Adams is great. It's the first like non-local beer that we've done, so don't worry. Next episode, we're back to local stuff. Mark and I had spoke. We're probably going to stop into 2SP, for those of you that are aware, the brewery in Aston. Do a recording there. get some good drinks, maybe some good food from a food truck, hang out, enjoy the summer sun. It's hot as a motherfucker outside right now. But, yeah. So, I think on that note...
Well, speaking of jogging the memory, I believe we have a giveaway.
We do have a giveaway. You know what? Thank you for reminding me. We do have a giveaway that is actually closing up here in a couple days. By the time you guys listen to it, the giveaway will be over because it ends up here in 3 days. But we will be announcing our winner on the next episode. So thank you for all who have entered. We appreciate your shares and likes on Facebook. And if you're listening to this right now, if we can get to 500 followers on Instagram before July 25th, which is the actual release of the movie, I'll do a second set of tickets for the people that were involved in this. So give us a like, share, tell your friends to follow. We want your input. We want you guys to listen. The more you guys listen to us, the more that we can give to you. So, last but not least, I am Steve.
I'm Mark.
And guys, thank you so much for listening to The Nerds Who Drink.